Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Last Friday, something really strange happened. My friends and I had planned a typical sleepover at Lucas's house. Lucas, with his curly brown hair and mischievous grin, was always up for a good time. Then there was Max, the tallest among us, who loved video games more than anyone else. Jake, with his short blonde hair and glasses, was the jokester of our group. And then there was me, Aaron, just your average guy who loved hanging out with his friends. Lucas's parents were out of town, so we had the whole place to ourselves. We started the evening in Lucas's spacious living room, which had a huge TV and the latest gaming console. We were all excited to play the new racing game Lucas had just got. After a few hours of intense gaming, we took a break for pizza. Lucas had ordered an enormous amount of it, with all our favorite toppings. We sat around the low coffee table, our plates piled high, laughing and joking as we ate. Once we'd had our fill of pizza, Lucas remembered something. He jumped up and ran to his backpack, rummaging through it until he pulled out a small, crinkled paper bag. "Guys, check this out," Lucas said, holding the bag up like a trophy. "I got this from an old shop in the city. The man who sold it to me was really weird, like something out of a movie. He had this long gray beard and wore a hat that covered his eyes." "What is it?" Max asked, leaning forward to get a better look. "Candy," Lucas replied. "But not just any candy. The man said it was special, but he wouldn't tell me why." We all gathered around as Lucas opened the bag. Inside were small, colorful candies that looked ordinary enough. He poured them into a bowl, and we each took a handful. The moment the candy hit my taste buds, I understood why Lucas was so excited. It was like nothing I'd ever tasted before. Sweet, but with so many flavors I couldn't even describe. We couldn't stop eating them, and before we knew it, the bag was empty. Feeling content, we went back to our video games. The night continued with more gaming, laughter, and a couple of soda-fueled burping contests. It was just another fun night with my friends. As the night turned into early morning, we started to get tired. We laid out our sleeping bags on the living room floor. The room was a mess of pizza boxes, empty soda cans, and game controllers. We talked and laughed for a while longer, but one by one we drifted off to sleep. That night, I had some really vivid dreams. In my dream, I was at a mall, but it was different. I was shopping for clothes, but not the usual jeans and t-shirts. In the dream, I was looking at dresses and skirts, and it felt normal. But dreams are just dreams, right? As I slowly woke up the next morning, I could hear the others stirring too. Max was the first to sit up, rubbing his eyes. Then Jake yawned loudly and stretched. Lucas was still asleep, his curly hair a mess. I sat up, feeling a bit groggy. That's when I noticed something odd. My hands looked different, my fingers were slimmer, my nails longer. Confused, I looked down at myself and, well, that's when things got really weird. My clothes seemed too big and my hair felt longer. I touched my face and it didn't feel like my usual scratchy skin. It was smooth. I looked around and my friends were all waking up too, and they looked just as confused as I felt. Max was staring at his hands, turning them over and over. Jake was patting down his now long blonde hair, looking completely baffled. Lucas was the last to wake up. He sat up, blinked a few times, and then his mouth dropped open. "What's happening?" Jake stammered, his voice sounding higher than usual. "We're girls," Max said, sounding like he couldn't believe his own words. We all looked at each other, and it was true. We weren't boys anymore. We had somehow turned into girls. Our hair was longer, our bodies were different, and even our clothes looked out of place on us now. For a few moments, we just sat there in silence, trying to understand what had happened. It was like the candy from last night had changed us. But how could candy do that? Lucas finally spoke up. "This has to be some sort of dream," he said, his voice now soft and melodic. "But it feels so real," I replied, my own voice surprising me. We stood up, and that's when we really saw the changes. Our jeans were loose, and our t-shirts hung off our shoulders. We were definitely not in our own bodies anymore. There was a big mirror on the wall, and we all walked over to it. Staring back at us were 4 girls. It was us, but not us. We had the same eyes, the same hair color, but everything else was different. "This is crazy," Max said, touching her new face in the mirror. "We need to figure this out," Lucas said, trying to be the leader like always. "But first, let's get out of these clothes. They don't fit at all." We agreed and decided to look through Lucas's sister's clothes. She was away at college, so she wouldn't mind. We found her room and started digging through her closet and drawers. I found a pair of jeans and a soft purple shirt. They fit much better than my old clothes. Max chose a green top and black leggings, while Jake picked out a blue sweater and a skirt. Lucas found a red dress that looked really nice on her. Dressed in clothes that fit our new bodies, we felt a little better, but we were still really confused about what to do next. "Should we tell someone?" Jake asked, looking worried. "Who would believe us?" Max replied. "They'd think we're just playing a joke." "We need to figure out if this is permanent," Lucas said. "Maybe it'll just wear off." We agreed to wait and see what would happen. In the meantime, we tried to act normal. We went back to the living room and sat down, but it felt weird. We didn't feel like playing video games anymore. Instead, we started talking about what had happened. We remembered eating the candy, and then everything after that was just a blur. "Maybe we should try doing something different," I suggested. "Something we wouldn't normally do." "Like what?" Max asked. I thought for a moment. "How about makeup? Lucas's sister has a bunch of it in her room." The idea seemed a bit strange at first, but then we all got curious. We had never used makeup before, but now it felt like something we wanted to try. We went back to Lucas's sister's room and found her makeup table. There were all sorts of things: lipsticks, eyeshadows, mascaras, and brushes. We had no idea how to use most of it, but it looked fun. "Let's just try it," Lucas said, picking up a lipstick. And so we did. We tried applying lipstick, fumbling with the mascara, and laughing at our clumsy attempts. It was strange, but also kind of exciting. We helped each other, giving tips we had overheard from sisters and friends. After a while, we actually started to get the hang of it. Our faces looked different with makeup, more like the girls we had become. We looked at each other and smiled. It was a weird situation, but we were still friends, just experiencing something totally new. As we sat there experimenting with different looks, we started to think about what else we could do. And that's when Lucas had an idea. "Let's go shopping," she said. "We need clothes that are really ours, not just borrowed from my sister." The idea excited us. We had never gone shopping for girls' clothes before. It was going to be a completely new experience. We stood outside Lucas's house, ready for our shopping trip. The sun was shining brightly and the birds were chirping. It felt like a normal day, except we were girls now. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Jake asked, looking a bit nervous. "We need clothes," Max said, "and it might be fun." We all nodded. It was weird, but we were curious about what it would be like to shop for girls' clothes. We walked to the bus stop, talking and laughing. People passed by, but no one seemed to notice anything unusual about us. It was like we had always been girls. The bus ride to the mall was short. We sat together, looking out the window and chatting. It felt like an adventure, something totally new and exciting. When we arrived at the mall, we stood for a moment, looking at the big entrance. The mall was huge, with so many stores. We had been here before, but it felt different now. "Where do we start?" Lucas asked. "How about that store?" I suggested, pointing to a shop with lots of colorful clothes in the window. We walked in, and it was like stepping into another world. The store was filled with dresses, skirts, tops, and jeans, all in bright colors and different styles. There were mannequins dressed in fashionable outfits, and music was playing softly in the background. We split up to look around. I found a rack of jeans and started looking for my size. Next to me, Max was looking at some pretty blouses. "Look at this!" Jake called out. He was holding up a sparkly pink dress. "Isn't it cool?" We all laughed. Jake always loved bright colors and shiny things. I found a pair of jeans and a cute t-shirt with a cat on it. Max chose a blue blouse and a pair of black leggings. Lucas picked out a red dress, just like the one she had worn from her sister's closet, but this one fit her even better. We tried on our clothes in the fitting room. It was funny to see ourselves in the mirrors looking like completely different people. But the clothes fit well, and we liked how we looked. After we paid for our clothes, we decided to get some shoes. We went to a shoe store and tried on all kinds of shoes. Sneakers, sandals, and even some high heels, which were really hard to walk in. We laughed a lot, trying to balance in the high heels. In the end, I chose a pair of cute sneakers with flowers on them. Max got some comfy sandals, and Lucas picked out a pair of red flats that matched her dress. Jake couldn't decide, so he got both a pair of sparkly sneakers and some purple flip-flops. We were having so much fun that we almost forgot about being boys before. It was just a day of shopping with friends, trying on clothes and shoes, and enjoying ourselves. After shopping, we were all hungry. We went to the food court and got some lunch. I had a slice of pepperoni pizza, Max got a chicken sandwich, Lucas had a salad, and Jake chose a big burger with fries. As we ate, we talked about what had happened. It was still hard to believe that we were girls now, but we were starting to get used to it. "Maybe it's not so bad," Max said, smiling. "I mean, it's different, but it's kind of fun." "Yeah," Jake agreed. "It's like we're on a secret mission or something." We all laughed. It did feel like a secret mission, exploring a world we had never known before. After lunch, we walked around the mall a bit more, looking at the different stores. There was so much to see and do. We even stopped at a jewelry store and tried on some bracelets and necklaces. "How about we go to a salon? We could get our hair done," she exclaimed. We all looked at each other, excited by the thought. None of us had ever been to a salon before, but it seemed like the perfect next step in our adventure. We left the mall and walked down the street looking for a salon. The town was quiet, with a few people walking around and cars passing by. It was a nice day, with the sun shining and a light breeze blowing. Finally, we found a salon with a bright sign that read, "Glamour Waves." We peeked inside through the large glass window. It was busy, with people getting their hair cut, styled, and colored. We were a bit nervous, but we decided to go in. The salon was filled with the sound of hair dryers and the smell of shampoo. The people working there were all dressed in stylish clothes, and they looked very busy. A lady with short, bright red hair came up to us. "Welcome to Glamour Waves. How can I help you today?" she asked with a smile. "We'd like to get our hair done," Lucas said. "Fantastic! Come on in and let's see what we can do for you," the lady replied. She introduced herself as Tina, the salon manager. Tina showed us to a waiting area with comfy chairs. We sat down, looking at the pictures on the walls. They were photos of people with all sorts of different hairstyles. One by one, Tina called us up. First was Max. She looked a little scared, but excited. Tina took her to a chair and put a cape around her. "What are we thinking today?" Tina asked. "I'm not sure," Max replied. "Something fun?" Tina nodded. "I have just the idea." While Max was getting her hair done, the rest of us looked through some magazines. There were so many hairstyles. It was hard to choose. When it was my turn, I sat in the chair, feeling a bit nervous. "What would you like to do with your hair?" Tina asked me. I thought for a moment. "Maybe something simple, not too short." Tina smiled. "I understand. Let's give you a fresh look." I watched in the mirror as Tina started cutting my hair. It felt weird, but also kind of nice. I could see my hair falling onto the cape. Lucas went next. She seemed really excited. "I want something bold," she told Tina. "Bold, huh? I like your style," Tina replied, grinning. Last was Jake. He seemed the most nervous of all. "Just a trim, please," he said quietly. Tina worked on each of us, cutting, styling, and drying our hair. It was amazing to see how different we looked with each snip. After a while, Tina finished with Jake. "All done," she announced. We all looked at each other, amazed. Max had a cute bob cut that framed her face beautifully. My hair was now shoulder length and felt so light. Lucas had a trendy layered cut that looked really cool. And Jake's hair was neatly trimmed, making him look very neat. Tina then asked if we wanted anything else. Lucas suggested we get manicures. "Why not?" Tina said. Let's complete the look. We were led to another area where another lady started working on our nails. I had never paid much attention to my nails, but it felt relaxing to have someone take care of them. We chose different nail colors. I picked a light blue, Max chose a soft pink, Lucas went for a bright red, and Jake picked a clear polish. As we sat there, getting our nails done, we talked and laughed. It felt like we were just a group of friends enjoying a day out. The weirdness of our situation seemed to fade away for a moment. After our manicures were done, we looked at ourselves in the mirror. We were amazed at how different we looked. Our new hairstyles and painted nails made us look like completely new people. "Thank you so much," Lucas said to Tina and the other staff. "You're welcome. Come back anytime," Tina replied with a smile. We walked back to Lucas's house, talking about our day. As we reached the house, we decided to sit in the backyard. It was a nice, open space with a small garden and a few chairs. We sat down, feeling the cool grass under our feet. It was peaceful, a good place to relax and talk. "We can't just stay like this forever, can we?" Jake asked, looking a bit worried. Maybe not," I said. "Honestly, I think being honestly is a lot more fun than being a boy. I would rather stay like this forever." Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.